World Championship Wreckage, presenting wrestling the way you remember it.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome. It's been a while. It's been a little bit. Welcome to another episode of Wreckage here on World Championship Wreckage. I am your friendly neighborhood dad hat wearing wrestling fan, joined by me, my buddy, my friend, a very proud Indiana Pacers fan right now.
Yes, sir.
XLJ the OG from Cole TV, also here on YouTube. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Hey, man, life is great. 25 years, brother. 25 years since the Pacers have been to the finals. I can tell you, Dad had, as the first sport I ever really got seriously into was the NBA in the 90s. NBA 90s was peak. I mean, those Pacers teams, oh, man, Reggie Miller, the Davis boys, the Duncan Dutchin, Rick Smits, Mark Jackson, all those guys. And it's been really cool, too. If you've watched the games in Indiana, like how so many of the alumni, like throughout our team's history, have showed up and been at the games, so it's been pretty cool. But it's a fun. They're a fun team to watch. Of course, at the time of this recording, we're tied 2-2, so we got a big Game 5 coming up in OKC. So keeping the faith alive. This team, man, I'm telling you, it's a team of destiny. So it's been to me, I feel like it's been a very entertaining NBA Finals, but. I could talk about that all day, but that's not what we're talking about. So.
I haven't watched the NBA in decades, brother. Like decades. Probably since the 90s. Pretty much since Charlotte went from the Hornets to the Bobcats, and I was like, fuck y'all. Well,
they're back to the Hornets. Yeah.
Well, they are with a horrible logo.
That 90s Hornets, here's the thing.
Everybody, not even in Charlotte, had that damn.
Didn't matter. That was the number one. Everybody had the Charlotte Hornets starter jacket, dude.
Yes,
everybody.
Starter brand. Oh my God, we're showing our age. Yes. But anyway, today we are back for Wreckage. Like I said, it's been a minute. Still been putting out content here on the channel. As you guys have seen, there's been a little bit of change. There's some pop culture stuff going on. We all like stuff other than just wrestling. So I thought I want people to share that. And why not have a space to do it? We've already got this established. Here's a space to do it. So you've seen me and MJ Duplessis with our Survivor Reignited. We're going through, Survivor, the reality show from season 1 all the way through current, which is about to be the start of season 49, if you can believe it, going on close to 25 years. We have got Mike's also got his show. Inner Circle with Wheels. He's interviewing a lot of different people, some wrestling, some music, a little bit of everything. And I can confirm, I'm not going to spill the beans yet, but I talked to people today. 2 new shows coming to the channel that have nothing to do with wrestling. So it's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited about it, especially one that I came up with the name and I already made a damn logo for it. I was like, I sent it to them and I was like, what do you think about this? And they're like, I'm in. Just seeing that. So we will get on to that. We'll hear from us soon about that. But today, what we were talking about, we teased it a long time ago. It's been a couple months since we got to do it. We are talking about the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be in 1997, focusing on the Hart Foundation. That's right, the Hart Foundation from 1997. I love this incarnation of the Hart Foundation. I feel like everybody, when they say the Hart Foundation, they immediately jump to Anvil and Bret, and Jimmy Hart, the classic tag team. Yes, that's great. But I freaking love the pro-Canada, anti-American, heel Bret Hart with Brian Pillman, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Owen Hart, and British Bulldog. 1997, them as a heel, it was hot. It was spicy. It was fun to watch. One what's the first thing that pops in your mind, XJ, when I say Hart Foundation from 1997?
Two things. One, as far as an image,
Mhm.
I always remember, and I'm sure you remember this too. There was a fan poster, I think it was in Canada, where it was all the Hart Foundation, and they were pissing on the American flag. You remember that poster?
Those like the little sticker that they used to put on trucks.
Yeah, exactly. Only it was like the Hart Foundation pretty much pissing on the American flag.
Mhm.
Sorry for, well, you know, it is what it is. It's wrestling. Just enjoy it. The other thing would be Canadian Stampede. Man,
We'll get there.
and we're gonna
Yeah,
get
we're
there.
gonna get
But,
there.
oh baby, oh baby.
Such a great in your house. Such a great.
Mhm.
Well, let's start from the get-go. It kind of starts. We got to look at Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin, WrestleMania 13, and we even talked about doing an episode about that around WrestleMania time. But people's schedules busy. You went to Mania, so I mean, crazy times. But that match got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, the very first match to be inducted into the Hall of Fame for WWE, and very worthwhile. But that's the start of the 1997 Hart Foundation. Get the double turn. Austin, now a face. I'll put an asterisk by that. Face. Bret Hart, heel. Now he's a heel. We hadn't really got a chance to see that in main event. Bret Hart. I was about to say main event, Jay Uso. Just out of habit. Better not say anything bad or Rikishi's going to come after me.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see face. But we get that double heel turn. And you see what he's doing in this match. Bret is more aggressive. He's doing heel tactics. You know, he wins. Austin automatically becomes a face because he doesn't give up. He passes out, and Bret doesn't let go. And that Chicago crowd really, you feel them turn on Bret because Ken Shamrock can't get the sharpshooter, like can't get him to let go of the sharpshooter. You're like, for you, when you look at that match, what does that match mean to you? What do you take away from that?
Oh my God, just so much. Because I mean, at that point, we really hadn't seen anything like that, to where there was such a complete switch instantaneously. I mean, at the time, Austin did have momentum going into that. There was people starting to become Stone Cold fans. Hell, there was people that were Stone Cold fans as soon as Austin 316 was born. But that was really kind of the switching of the light too. And also kudos to Bret Hart as well, because the seeds were being planted early on for this heel turn. If you think about it, the months leading up to this show, you know, there was the frustration that he was taking out, because like when he came back in 96 there, you know, he had the match with Stone Cold, wins number one contendership, goes up against Sid at the next month's In Your House, loses that match to a bunch of bullshit. And it's just like he gets these opportunities and they just end up being like these bullshit smosh finishes, right? So you look at Royal Rumble, you know, he should have won that, but the refs didn't see Austin get thrown out. So Austin wins that Rumble. There was a match they had on Raw, or no, I take it back. He won the title at the next month's In Your House. The next night, he drops it to Sid because of some bullshit. Has a rematch with Sid in a cage match. Shawn Michaels and other people get involved. The bullshit. So the thing I think is fascinating about this is, yes, you have these seeds of Bret planting like this heel turn, but at the same time, too, Dad Hat, there's kind of some justification behind Bret Hart saying, you know, the hell with this. I'm fed up with this shit. Like, and I'll never forget that promo as a kid after the cage match with Sid, where Bret's talking to Vince, and he's just like, this is some goddamn bullshit. And he shoves him down, and you're just like, it's like, this is my hero. It's like, holy shit, like he is pissed, but rightfully so.
And that camera angle over Vince's shoulder, looking up at Bret, so you kind of get what Vince is looking at. He's, you know, pointing down like, I'm the best there is, the best there was, best there will be, and how heated and just venomous he sounded. Like, like truth in reality, there, people. Truth in reality. So yes, very justified, very, very, very justified. And I'm sure as a performer, he was like, yes, a change. Like I know people, people give Bret Hart hell all the time about like.
Well, I know with Bret, he was very hesitant about the term, but not so much in the States. Like he did not want to go heel in not only in Canada, but just internationally too, because he had such a cult-like hero following there. So when it was suggested, because it was obviously the American crowds were the ones that reacted the most to like Bret, so it just kind of made sense.
And
for
it's the
them
first
to pull
time we've really had a quote unquote territorial like babyface a heel. He's a babyface foreign countries, but he's a heel in the US. Like, and they were doing so much. Like, they were in Canada, then they were in the US, then 3 weeks later they were back in Canada. And, like in overseas tours, like they were doing so much at that time. Like 1 week you're hearing Bret get cheers, next 2 or 3 weeks you're getting boos and then cheers. So I mean, it really showcased that the difference in where they are, especially because when they were in Canada, like instead of the signs, it was a sea of Canadian flags. So we got Bret. That's where Bret is. We've got Bulldog and Owen. And they're currently feuding. Like they're feuding against each other. Which I mean, hey, both great workers.
And they were also tag champions at the same time, too.
Yes, they were.
Great story.
Yes, they were. I love when they have a tag team that feuds at the same time, too. I think it just adds just a little like.
And that's another thing, too, with that one, Dad had that one been going on for months. Even that one dated back all the way to the Royal Rumble, really.
Yeah, that one's been going on for a while. But you get Bret coming in mid-match with them and breaking it apart and cutting a promo to his brother-in-law Bulldog and his brother Owen, and like what are you doing? We're family. Like it's great. I mean, and I'm like, that's a way to end the feud right there. Like
the line where Bret looks over at Owen, it's like, you're only little brother. I love you. And then just God, Owen weeping.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. As the kids would say nowadays, cinema. Oh, man. Because I remember, too, my mind was kind of blown at this point because y'all got to keep in mind, like 90, 94, 90, like 5, like that was the best rivalry in the World Wrestling Federation. Hell, I'll go as far as say that's the best rivalry in pro wrestling, period. The sibling rivalry between Bret Hart and Owen Hart. Like I never thought, even though they're brothers, I still never thought I'd see the day where they would reunite after that. And the fact is, like, here it is.
Heated. Yeah. From, throwing in the towel and Bret losing the title to, the Mania matches, like I'm right there with you. Well, bring in Jim the Anvil Neidhart makes total sense, right? Former tag team champion with Bret fits right in. And one of my favorites, Brian Pillman,
the wild card.
Like in a time where Brian Pillman, like, God, if he hadn't been hurt.
Oh my God! One of the biggest what ifs, man. Absolutely.
World champion. Like I mean, can you imagine like Mania matches, Shawn and Pillman, like for the title? Can you imagine him getting a little bit older and having a chance to like really work with like the Benoits, the Angles,
my God,
the Guerreros, just like on that type of a stage. Just, again, big what if.
Oh, man.
Big what if in wrestling. So you have this newly formed, very pro-Canadian, anti-American formation of the Hart Foundation. Jimmy Hart is not here. There is no, come on, baby, let's go.
I don't think that quite would have worked as well.
No. They officially formed April 7th, 1997, night after WrestleMania 13. It's the official date of when they start. We get some major feuds. It's a continuation of Bret and Austin, right? You get continuation from that. There's lots of different brawls and fights on Raw. There's the classic one where Austin trapped Bret in the figure four on the pole,
Mm-hmm.
which Bret's one of his famous moves is doing the figure four on the outside of the pole. And of course, going after all the members of the Hart Foundation, right? But of course, let's go ahead and jump into it. You brought it up, Canadian Stampede.
Oh,
you
yeah.
get it's set in Canada, but you get Hart Foundation versus WWF's American Heroes. Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Legion of Doom, Old Dust, Ken Shamrock, and why am I blanking on the last one?
No, you named them all.
Okay.
Austin, Shamrock, Goldust, and the Legion of Doom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man, that so good. That match. I mean, that honestly, that's okay. Seriously, like the build up and stuff, like that was really built like as a one match like pay per view. I mean, there's some other good matches on there. Don't get me wrong. Like, but that's what it was about. And the fact it was in Calgary, it was in Hart Country, and that crowd,
the family.
oh my God, the whole family was there. And when I say the whole family was there.
The brothers, the mom, Martha, like everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was there. What I think what I liked the 1997 Hart Foundation a lot, and why I like this match is one of the first times for me where we got a peek behind the curtain. Wrestling with Shadows, Bret the Hitman Hart, and you see them with Pat Patterson putting this match together, and they do it. You hear Pat talking about what's going to happen. They show the footage from the match, and so like just kind of seeing that it was very, very cool for a young dad hat. But yeah, it's a damn good match, and the fact that again, Austin thinks that Stu threw a drink on him, and really it was one of the brothers, and so the brother attempts to jump the rail but trips because I'm just like, dude, you have one job to get over this rail, and
I feel like it was Bruce because it seems like it's always Bruce.
Always Bruce.
It's always
Brucey.
Which, hey, that's if you really want to know, some people may be questioning, well, why Brian Pillman was in the Hart Foundation. Well, that's the connection right there. I mean, Pillman trained in the dungeon, but he was tag team partners with Bruce Hart in Stampede Wrestling. So there you go.
Yeah. We get through that. Again, awesome match. Go watch it if you haven't seen it in a while. Like, go check it out. And we all know where this is leading up to. It's the end of 1997. It's leading up to what ends the Hart Foundation, really. It ends Bret Hart's career in WWF at the time, the Montreal Screwjob. Well, before we get there, though, we do get a feud with Shawn. And Shawn is in that early D-Generation X phase with Hunter and Chyna and Rick Rude. We get the famous Sunny Days promo. Like it's the start of the Attitude Era. It's the it's Vince McMahon and them putting a toe in the water before just doing a cannonball. This is not. It's Attitude Era, but it's not full blown yet. Is where we're sitting. But Shawn and Bret and Shawn, tale as old as time.
Because remember, the original plans for WrestleMania 13 was supposed to be a rematch from WrestleMania 12. But then, of course, Shawn lost his smile. Take that for what it's worth. And obviously those plans was taken off the table. So like at some point they were going to go back to this. Like it was inevitable. And I mean, they teased it on again, off again throughout 97, really. And then, like you say, we kind of get to where this is going to happen and how we got there, because I think a pivotal part of this story too, we got to talk about, and you may be getting there, but SummerSlam 97 was huge for the Hart Foundation. That
Absolutely.
was a big show.
Yeah, it was. But also could have ended in disaster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
But you go into that show and it's like the every Hart Foundation matchup has a special stipulation set forth, because the big thing going into it was Bret and Undertaker for the title, and if Bret loses, he has to leave, or he will never wrestle in the United States again.
Yep.
He will only wrestle in like Canada and other countries. So that was kind of the big ongoing storyline there, or
With
the big
Shawn as the referee,
with Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee. And then you look down on the rest of the card. One thing I liked with Canadian Stampede is how they transitioned Austin over into feuding with Owen. Because at that time, Owen, still kind of like this tag team wrestler. But then if you look at it during the run with the Hart Foundation, that's when Owen won his first Intercontinental Championship. Which, I mean, still the Intercontinental title, one of the biggest titles in the WWF. It's the workhorse title. I mean, Owen definitely deserved to win that.
Absolutely.
And Owen getting the pinfall on Austin at Canadian Stampede, getting the win there. I mean, that was huge. So you have their matchup where the IC title's on the line. And of course, if Austin loses, he has to kiss Owen Hart's ass. It's a stipulation for that one. In addition to that, you have the European champion, which was the British Bulldog. The first European champion, putting it on the line against Ken Shamrock. And the stip there was if Bulldog loses, he's to lose the title, he has to eat a can of dog food.
Oh, so I remember this.
Yes. And on top of that, you also had the feud between Goldust and Brian Pillman. And Brian Pillman, the stipulation there was if Brian lost the next night on Raw, he had to wrestle in a dress.
Yep. I remember that. And
on top of all that, the Anvil said if all the Hart Foundation lost, he would shave his goatee off. Since he didn't have a match, it's like, I've got to show support. So there was a lot riding on the line in East Rutherford, New Jersey that night for SummerSlam. But let's break down those matches. You like the first in sequence there. You have Pillman and Goldust, which that was a great feud too.
Yeah, it was.
Love those.
That early Goldust, as controversial as it was, Pete Goldust, like. Love
because
Goldust.
Because at this point, Dad had like Goldust is like become a babyface, but it's like he's accepted for like what Goldust, what his character is, and you remember back in the day, WWF experimented and they did these like reality based interviews. It started with Mick Foley, or Mankind at the time. We kind of find out his story, but then at the same time too, they also do Goldust and tell Dustin Rhodes' story about like kind of the breakup, unfortunately, of his father and the story with him and Terry and stuff like that, and that they have a child and everything. So they make it like they show the human aspect of it, so you're more like, okay, this is like a real person. It's not just a character, a guy playing a character. There's some reality to this. But anyways, you go into that feud with Pillman and stuff, and Pillman being Pillman, because Pillman, one of those guys ahead of his time, like so like in your face, that like just playing off of of those interviews, kind of like that broken relationship with Dusty, and as well as like instigating that like he had a relationship in the past with Terry. So I mean that was some pretty wild shit back then, man.
That was.
And then of course, then you have Pillman losing the match. So then the next night you're tuning in on Raw because you're like, oh shit, is he really going to do it? And sure enough, yes, he does wrestle in a dress the next night. God bless him. And then you have that matchup.
We've all been there.
Yeah, yeah. Then you have that matchup between Shamrock and Bulldog, which was intense, and like Shamrock, I think if I remember correctly, like because there was times on TV where we'd see Shamrock snap, and it was like Jesus, like he's going to murder somebody. I think this is the first time we see that happen, realistically speaking, because it had happened like we saw his debut matchup was against Vader, and my God, he broke Vader's nose. If that tells you anything. But yeah, you see this intense side of Ken Shamrock, you're just like, whoa, Of course, Bulldog ends up retaining, and then of course we got to talk about it, man. The Austin Owen matchup, which about ended in like serious tragedy.
Yeah.
Where you have Owen hitting that scary pile. It was just so. I still look back on it so bizarre to me, Dad, because I'm like, I don't ever remember Owen hitting that type of a pile driver. Like
Not with the flip.
I don't remember him doing
it.
this. See, I don't really remember him doing the set. I remember him doing it in the Nation of Domination days, but I don't remember him doing it before that. And I could be mistaken. It doesn't stick out to me for whatever reason.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and rewatch some Owen stuff, which wouldn't be the worst thing.
But the way he hits it and the way Austin's, it's like, oh my god,
it's just too low. It's too low.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you see it.
You could see, like, even as a fan, like, something was up.
Like, yeah, Owen's. Owen is. He's laying right there. Owen's. It's like for me coming from the theater world. It's like you're acting on stage and you can see at your peripheral someone standing right there, but yet you don't see him. Like it's that. It was what it was. Yeah. So, but Austin wins the IC title, even though luckily not paralyzed, nothing. I mean, yes, it caused career shortening damage, and
absolutely,
but still got some of the best years ahead of him after that.
But I just remember like how scary that roll up was, though. Like it was the most you knew, like, okay, like this is obviously.
I didn't see it coming. I didn't know I was gonna get rolled up. What happened? Like, yeah, it was, yeah,
because I mean, Austin can barely move. Like it was the weakest roll up in wrestling history. But but yes, let's talk about that main event.
Yeah, Bret, Taker, Shawn as the referee. I mean, and the King says it perfectly. Like, Shawn can't stop focusing on himself. He's concerned about what his hair looks like. He's got to be the center of attention.
Maybe the shortest shorts I've ever seen on a referee.
Was that when he was in the shorts? Yeah, that was when he was in the shorts.
I'm pretty sure it was at this one. Yeah.
But yeah, so it is definitely, sowing the seeds of what's to come. But you get one of the most heavy, hard-hitting chair shots ever in pro wrestling. Shawn Michaels takes the chair away from Bret. It's like, you're not going to do it. You're not going to use it. Takes it from Bret. Takes it and goes to hit Bret. Bret ducks right into Taker's head. And whoo, man, that sound is still reverberating out there in space somewhere.
Oh my god, that image! Which it's funny you said that. Now I remember. Yeah, he was wearing pants in that one because I thought back to the image of him swinging that chair. It's like crazy, like it's sickening.
But what helps too is like Shawn has to count, right? And he does. The way he counts, it's like 1, 2, fine, just be done with it. Like it's not like a slow like it. There you see the frustration of him, like, I don't want to have to count 3 for you. Come on, Undertaker. Like it works very well. And of course that separates Bret and Shawn for just a little bit because we get the classic Hell in a Cell match with Shawn and Taker.
But Bret was busy too, dealing with the Patriot. Del Wilkes. Hey, all kids, Del Wilkes was a great wrestler. I wish like he would have got over more in the WWF, but I mean, it was obviously they were just using him because they needed somebody in that American role at the time. But this was a huge spot, huge moment for him. It's just a damn shame that they didn't really do anything with him afterwards, because I mean, he was a great wrestler. Seriously, go back and watch him stuff.
I can visually see that. They've got this is when they had the giant Tron. God, I miss that giant Tron.
Yeah.
Like giant Tron, little entrance ramp. Miss that giant Tron. That's what made intro videos so cool. Like there wasn't no even if the music sucked, you realized who it was because you couldn't miss the Tron. But I can see it now. You've got the Patriot, Star Spangled Banner flag waving on the Tron. Bret's got his back turned, hands on the ropes, just pouting and being like, what the fuck? And then doesn't even let him through, and he's just kicking Patriot's ass.
Also, too, remember, keep in mind, Patriots, his entrance music, like, that was actually Kurt Angle's later on. So Kurt Angle's music, it actually was the Patriots' music, folks. Just throwing that out there.
I remember seeing that not long ago and just being like, "You suck!" Like it's like, yeah, I don't think they would be doing that with that character.
But I will say this about Del Wilkes, a Patriot. Like, seriously, go and watch his stuff in All Japan Wrestling. Like, he's really good. He was a great performer. It's a shame he didn't get as good of a push here in the States. But
yeah. Well, we move on from the Patriots, past SummerSlam. Where do we want to go from here, buddy?
Well, I think really, honestly, we talk about Survivor Series. I mean, we're going to talk about it, but I really think any momentum, anything for the Hart Foundation, really kind of, it was at Bad Blood is when it really started to go down, and it's just the fact that this is the time frame where you have the horrific accident where Brian Pillman does pass away. Because Brian Pillman was supposed to go into that show facing Goldust, continuing their rivalry, because at the time, Pillman in the rematch between the two had won the services of Terry for a month. So they were doing that whole storyline and thing, and then as it unfortunately goes, Brian was found dead in his hotel room before the show, pretty much, and I mean, that's just gut wrenching to begin with, but I mean, for a any type of faction stuff to recover from that, it's
slams on the brake. That slams on.
It really does. It really does.
That was October 5th. So just barely a month later, November 9th is Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and also too, this is also the same time too where, like, as cool as the whole Hart Foundation thing has been, like, it's going in the more extreme, like, as far as what the World Wrestling Federation is doing at the time. You have, and you also now you have Shawn Michaels, who's kind of come in as a heel. So you have like two heels, because Shawn coming off of that 2-month rivalry with The Undertaker and that tremendous Hell in the Cell match. And
Bret I'll say this: Bret was playing a heel, like a classic heel, right?
Yes.
What he grew up knowing as a heel, what his father taught him as a heel, that type of heel. We are now in the time frame with Shawn, Austin, the start of the cool heel. It's cool to like the bad guy, the anti-hero, the anti-establishment. And Bret wasn't that. Bret was just a heel.
And I miss those days, honestly, but if I'm being the old man on his porch, but I digress. And then here's the thing too, we got to talk about in this build up too. A lot of people I don't think really realize this, but who actually gave the name of Degeneration X? It was Bret Hart, because he called them a bunch of degenerates. And then they have that promo, and then Shawn and Hunter are like, yeah, we're Degeneration X, and thus one of the greatest wrestling factions of all time is born.
Best t-shirts too.
Yeah, absolutely. But yes, as we go into Survivor Series, the other aspect of this is reality. And the reality is, like, if you're like a diehard fan, you're reading your dirt sheets back in the day, which you'd have to read in your Wrestling Observer letter. You weren't really reading so much of it online. You knew Bret was leaving. Bret was bound to WCW essentially, because Vince could not afford to pay him his lucrative contract anymore.
That makes me wonder, though. I mean, back in '97, I mean, the internet was still in its infancy, really, to the mass majority. It's like how, and it boomed in a couple of years. It's like the first, like, oh, they're jumping ship from WCW to WWF was Jericho. I remember that being the first one I ever read. Like, and that was still when I thought internet was still in its infancy. So it's like, it makes me wonder, like, really, how many people in the audience really knew? Yeah, there might have been whispers and everything, but no, we've already had the storyline where, he signed and he's going to be there forever. And you get Vince on the commentary table being like, all right, yeah.
Right.
Like,
No, I
yeah.
agree with that. I still think like the people in attendance in Montreal, I would safely say at least 80 to 85% probably did not know he was actually leaving for WCW.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that's a safe number. The vast majority of them didn't realize he was leaving. But obviously,
did you know there was one thing that could have stopped Bret from going to WCW?
what's that?
The pouch! What? Pouch! Huh? Pouch!
What the hell?
I hit the wrong button. Screw
I
up
was
my
like,
own damn joke.
What was that? Like the pound?
The first thing was Mike's intro for Inner Circle. But yes, the Pounce. That's from our Monty Brown episode from Bound for Impact. But,
okay.
But yes.
The pouch!
This.
What? Pouch! Huh? Pouch!
Well, pounds could have stopped a lot of people.
That if Vince had just gotten pounced. Yeah. But yeah, in all seriousness, like Montreal Screwjob has been talked to this blue in the face. We're 97. We're close to 30 years since the Montreal Screwjob. Like, don't put it past WWE, and I'm a WWE fan. At the 30-year anniversary of Survivor Series, they have Bret and Shawn both there. It's in Canada, and they have a Montreal Screwjob match.
Oh, that TKO money be talking. Like we got to get out of this debt somehow. Let's cash in on this. Let's do it. Book it, Pop H.
Don't put it past them. But
oh my God, here it is. Let me just throw it out. Here's what they do. Okay, because they can't physically compete, right?
No.
Survivor Series, you got Team Bret against Team Shawn. How much you like? Clip this in like 5 months from now or whatever when they actually do that shit. You watch and see. They do that.
We got a couple more years. We got 2 more years. So it is.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Okay, but they'll do it.
You just hear Bret and Shawn both from the floor. Ring the bell, ring the bell, ring the bell, ring the bell. Yeah, no need to hash out Montreal Screwjob. It's been talked about enough. We've talked about it here on the channel. Like, it is, whether it was or was not a work. Same. We're still, whether or not it was a work, people are still talking about that today. If it's a work, okay. If it's not a work, okay. Just roll with it. Like, enjoy wrestling is what I say.
Yes.
But that brings to the end the 1997 Hart Foundation. It was less than a year, but it was an important year because I stand by this. Like, if you don't have that heel faction, you don't necessarily really have the start of Attitude Era. Like, that they were the toe of Vince McMahon dipping it into the pool to see if they could do shit. And yes, there were other people as part of that. Austin, Shawn, Goldust. But this faction proves that, one, I'm lost my train of thought because now I'm getting all riled up. But Attitude Era might still have happened. But I don't think it would have happened as fast if you didn't have this as a catalyst going into it.
I agree, because I think also with this too, Dad Hat, I think this made the transition of Bret Hart turning a heel a lot more make sense, a lot more realistic. And I think it worked good for all parties. It worked good for us fans. So it's like, okay, this is what we're grasping onto. And also I think it worked for Bret too, so he can dial it in more, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it just, the whole thing, it made sense. And like we said before, like something like this truly realistically on national television had never really been done in the world of wrestling, where you have like a guy who works as a heel and the largest part of the market where he works in, but the rest of the areas he's working as a babyface. You know?
Yeah. Very different, very cool at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, folks, that was 1997 Hart Foundation. Before we let XLJ pick what we talk about next, let's do a little plug-a-palooza. What you got going on, XLJ?
Well, I tell you, Dad Hat, like it's really cool what we got going on with Cole TV right now, because we're really celebrating something that's probably the biggest landmark we've achieved yet to Cole TV. We are about to, at the time of this recording, we are about to hit our 100th episode of Pro Wrestling 60, which is awesome, to say the least. I never, like, it's not like when we start off doing a show, you know, it's something I didn't really, you know, we're going to hit this at some point, but yeah, here we are. It's crazy to think. So we got a very special week on Cole TV, of course, with PW 60, the 100th episode. We've got a really cool special coming your way. That's kind of like just looking back at some of the clips and some of the cool stuff we've done over the past couple of years with Pro Wrestling 60, with everybody involved with it. We also got a really fun podcast that's going to be coming out as well, where we're kind of letting loose and pulling back the curtain and just talking about our whole family, of how like we all met and stuff too. It's
We
hard
get
to
to
believe.
cheat on somebody.
Yeah, that too, which you're going to want to tune in for that. So we've got that going on over on Cole TV. Definitely, you want to check that out. Also, we're really proud to announce that we are officially sponsors on the third semi-non-annual Schmitty tournament, which will be the Schmitty, which will be taking place in August in beautiful Spencer, Indiana. So we're going to be a big part of that. So you're going to want to come out and check that out. Of course, we'll have a lot of cool footage from that. Got a lot of cool footage coming your way on Cole TV too. Got a couple of special vlogs coming in the next coming weeks. New episodes of I'm Your Huckleberry and The Hunt. Working on some a new Friday night movie night. Hopefully that'll be coming out soon too. And we got some fun episodes of Learning the Ropes too. So we got a little bit of something for everybody over on Cole TV. But definitely come check us out. Especially check out the PW60 stuff we got coming out. It's really, really cool. So. And of course, you can catch me on all socials under XLJ the OG, and of course, you can catch me here on Wreckage with Dad Hat here, and as well as our good buddy Will, and also on Fantasy Warfare, which we're talking about getting some episodes there going. That could be really exciting. So
Really cool. Yeah.
So got a lot of cool things on the horizon.
Yeah. Well, I love partnering with Cole TV. Y'all are family. Y'all are. I mean, I love working with you guys. You guys were big supporters of this channel when I kind of started it, and didn't, even though shit had gone down with another channel, you guys weren't like, oh fuck this, we're not doing this again. But you guys had faith in me, and I appreciate it. You can find me Dad Hat Wrestling, all socials. World Championship Wreckage, all socials. We got new episodes of Survivor Reignited coming out next couple of weeks before I hit my vacation time, and I'm not going to be anywhere near anything electronic.
Are you doing Disney again?
Yes, we are. But this time it's just the family. There's no in-laws, so it's just us. It's my first vacation in a while. It's been a long year. So probably like my only vacation really before the kiddo goes back to school in August. So but new stuff coming out from Survivor Reignited to Bound for Impact. You know, also check back out our back catalog with cool things like creative character writing with Jay Knows Wrestling, and you know, check out the older Queen's Court stuff. And eventually Queen's Court will come back whenever Netflix decides to put the rest of Raw on Netflix. But all those things. So you can find us, give us a like or subscribe. You know, we're continuing to grow, new things coming all the time. I always will have an idea pop into my head, and they like me enough to tell me whether it's shits or it's good. So yeah. So with that, what are we talking about next time, XLJ?
Okay, I think I got one. So last time I think I chose topic. I chose the pay-per-view, and ironically enough, like, call me Nostradamus, but like a couple months later, they worlds collide and WWE takes place. So
you did.
I want to talk about another pay-per-view.
Okay.
Especially makes sense since it's summertime. And I think you guys I don't think you've done a Wreckage episode on this, but you may have done one back in the day, a long time ago. But I want to talk about what I think, in my opinion, was the best pay-per-view that this company ever produced. I say we talk about ECW Heatwave 98.
I don't think we've covered that. Maybe we might have done it on.
I feel like you did like a watch along or something way back when or something like that. But yeah, I think that's what we should talk about next episode because it's such a good show.
You said 98.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. I don't think we've done it. I don't think I've got anything here. So yeah, Heatwave 98 next time. Well, for XLJ or Dad Hat, we're gonna end it like we always do. Wise words from the American. I always say the American Dream because I'm used to saying
it's a habit.
It's habit. The American Dream does not come out now easily. It comes out the American Dream. Shout out to our boy Husky Rhodes. We love him. But the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah, baby, I got one more thing to say. Your gas tank is full. Your dipstick is in. Your windows washed. Y'all come back and see me again.